All right, so now this is the spoiler portion of the video. So let's get straight into this, and we're gonna start off here. You know, we see Joker, and he's kind of doing this thing with, he's trying to make himself smile. Well, I believe he was crying, wasn't he crying?
He was actually like taking his fingers into his mouth and just pulling them up into his into basically his sockets to force himself to actually smile.
Right, and it was a very weird way to open the movie, but at the same time, it gave you like no context at all. And I guess it's kind of like the whole theme of this movie: barely any context, and you kind of have to decipher it for yourself for the most part.
And you have to wait for the actual, not the build-up, but you have to wait for the context,
like the
to
answers and stuff. Yeah. So I think there's a big theme in this movie: the whole people beating up on Joker
and just kicking him while he's down.
Right, kicking him while he's down. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, you know, we see Joker always lying down, and there's a few more instances in this movie where he's just lying down, getting the crud kicked out of him, and well, we'll talk about that when the time comes. So, you know, one thing that I noticed too, and this is like right at the beginning of the movie, you didn't know what to expect really, but he's just like crying and laughing at the same time.
Yeah, it's because he can't control it. I actually wrote this down at the beginning too, it was an uncontrollable fit of laughter where he would just out of nowhere just start laughing to what we would think is no apparent reason. And it, let me put that on vibrate or silent actually. So yeah, I caught that too. It was a very uncontrollable laughter fits. It wasn't necessarily something that he wanted to do, so he was upset with himself on the inside when he was laughing on the outside. So he went to see a psychiatrist. He went to get medication, and she even said he was on 7 different kinds of medication.
Right,
too.
yeah, like that was insane. Like 7 different kinds, like oh my gosh, you know, it was nuts.
Like he wasn't trying to just mosey on through life doing this on his own. He went through taking a bunch of medications. He even asked to up the dosage.
Yeah,
because he
wanted more. Yeah,
because he said he didn't want to feel bad.
Right, and one thing to note too is that he was living with his mother.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, his mother. You know, this movie plants so many things in there. It's so perfect because, and after you're done watching it, you're like, oh. Yeah. So like, she is so obsessed with Thomas Wayne. Like
extremely
obsessed with Thomas Wayne, and like you don't know why she's so obsessed with Thomas Wayne. It's like insane how much she says like, oh, he's running for mayor, he's gonna be a good guy. You know, she sees like, you know, the news talks about Thomas Wayne all the time, and she sees the interviews with Thomas Wayne, and she's just obsessed. Like, another thing too is Murray, the comedian, De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. He so we actually see him call Arthur out on the show.
Way later in the movie, yeah.
Right. He has the clips of Joker or Arthur on his show. Mm-hmm. Now,
because earlier in the movie, Arthur does stand up because he's trying to impress a girl.
Right, exactly.
Which is something I never would have been thought possible.
Right,
but he met a girl in the apartment complex and asked her out. He went to the comedy club. He did some jokes. People loved it. And
he gets a lot of strange visions and a lot, like not necessarily visions, but like a lot of strange thoughts. Like you'll see it in the movie. He gets like these sort of like, you'll see these clips of things that happened that didn't actually happen.
Just delusions in general.
Scene of him going over to her apartment and kissing her and whatever. Yep. So you think there's something there. But then while
he's in full Joker makeup.
Right, while he's in full makeup, full attire. And, you know, you find out that it was all just his vision in his head because he's just crazy.
Yeah, she was just all made. We'll probably edit this out to where it's later on. But she was like a figment of his imagination.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind. He's making up a girlfriend and planning all these events that he went through with her at his side so she could relatively be that conscious.
Exactly. One of the guys that he works with at the clown industry actually gave him a gun.
It was Randall.
His name was Randall. Yep. Right, Randall. And Randall gave him a gun, and like, you know that Arthur should not be getting a gun.
No.
He is not the guy you want to give a gun.
You don't give Joker a gun.
So one thing is that Arthur got fired because he went to a children's hospital and brought a gun with him as a prop. as a prop.
Oh,
and he goes into the phone booth and he finds out that he gets fired, and he finds out that Randall actually, turned his back on him.
It was that Arthur asked Randall for a 38. Like, he was trying to buy a gun.
Right, yeah.
So he asked Randall for it.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he was like, oh, well, Arthur found it from somewhere else, I'm guessing.
Right,
and threw
yeah.
him under the bus. I was not expecting the whole, children's hospital, because I'm pretty sure that they were cancer care kids.
Yes, they were, yes.
And they hired the clown who was Arthur, and as he said before, deer in headlights. Was it cold out there?
Winter has come at last.
So he goes on a subway train, right? And he's just kind of sitting there, minding his business. He sees these three punks, right? And there's this lady there, and they're kind of intimidating her, and they're throwing French fries at her,
Yeah,
he's being nice, get some French fries. And she moves, right? She leaves her seat from the train.
Because he starts laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he starts laughing. I'm
She's-
pretty sure she saw her opportunity and just went, nope, I'm out. And
Yeah,
just,
so she leaves her seat in the train, and then we see the three guys. They can't target the lady anymore. She's gone. They target Joker, and that was not a good move.
I'm still trying to figure out what that guy was singing.
Oh yeah, he was.
Oh,
singing,
it was Sending the Clowns.
Yeah, he was singing it, and he's just kind of going up in Joker's face and whatever, and eventually they take off his wig and stuff, and they start taking his things, and they just start intimidating him. They grab onto Arthur, and then one of the guys, boom, punches him in the face because Arthur tries to fight back.
He actually tries to show him the card because he was laughing still as he was singing.
Oh, right. He
the
tried to show
guy's
him the card, and he
him,
grabs the coat and everything.
He's like, no, I have a condition, and he's trying to grab onto his jacket and show the card, and he's like, no, I'll show you what you got. One of the guys grabs his stuff, throws it from him, and then they just pin him down and just start kicking the crap out of him, when all of a sudden, bang!
Yep.
Holy
Shots fired.
crap.
He shoots one of the guys. Then he shoots the other guy, and then there's the third guy. He is trying to leave the train, but he's like, "Oh my God, is he gonna shoot me? What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do?" So he's bleeding.
He's bleeding from the
his
foot because
foot.
he managed to get a straight bullet to the leg as he was firing.
So he's kind of peeking out the window, and it's kind of like this game of cat and mouse where Joker's like, "Okay, I see you," and he's kind of like, "Oh no." So then he books, and Joker's like, "I'm not having this." So Joker goes and shoots
Shoots him right in the back.
and the guy's on the ground, and he's literally crawling up the stairs, and then Joker just,
Fires two
punishes him more and go boom, 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 it just keeps firing at him until he runs out of bullets. You hear the clicking, and it's just, it was so brutal.
It's like he's finally happy with what he's
Exactly.
doing.
Yep.
Because he finally fought back.
This is going to be the big thing for the rest of the movie, the murder of these three guys. So the main point that I kind of figured out at this point is that the people of Gotham, the citizens, hate the rich. That's one of the main themes of this movie. They hate the rich, big time. So if you, these people, we saw there was this giant protest going on. There's bits and pieces from the news of these people dressed as clowns, and they're like, we'd look at this Joker crime as heroic almost, kind of showing how we feel. You know what I'm saying? He's got a following now, and it's kind of crazy. Things get nuts.
And I'm going to go back a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So before that even happens, because he manages to sneak into the theater, this is way beforehand. Right. And this is where we're going to touch up on the Waynes a little bit, because somebody found, because we find out that Arthur's mother, Penny?
Yes, right? Penny.
She's been writing letters to Wayne Manor.
Yep.
Just randomly writing them and this and that. And then we try to figure, this is why we were saying she was obsessed with him. Yeah. And Arthur finally gets the notion to go, what the hell is she writing about?
Right,
so he actually takes one of the letters as she's going to the bathroom or in the bedroom getting ready for something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It basically states that Thomas is the father to Arthur.
Yeah, that was a huge plot twist. It's like, what?
I even looked down to you guys. That's the first time I've ever actually talked during the film too.
I hate when people talk during the movie.
Is that I went down to you and went, you saw that, right?
Yeah.
And we had to touch up on that. So as he's going, he's now got it in his mind that Thomas Wayne is his father. Oh my God, I got to meet him. I got to talk to him. I have to find out a way to get to him, leading into the riot situation.
Yeah.
So as the riots are going on, he sees his opportunity as soon as somebody grabs one of the guards and starts pushing him over. Arthur's
Right.
just like, dodge out. And he ducks underneath, manages to get into the side entrance of the theater and dress up as an usher.
Right, yeah. And so then we see Arthur walking into the theater, and they're watching like some funny flick. You know, it's like one of those black and white flicks.
Yeah.
And then you hear him go, you know, his stupid, weird, crazy laugh.
Yeah.
And then he looks over to his right and he sees Thomas Wayne. And Thomas gets up to go to the bathroom. He's like, prime opportunity. So they meet each other in the bathroom. Long story short, Thomas and Arthur get into a confrontation where Thomas is like, hey, you may think that, you know, Penny and I had you and I'm your father. That's not what happened. You were adopted.
Yeah.
Tells him straight up, you were adopted. And, you know, Thomas literally was just, you know, he was trying to convince Arthur that this was the truth. Arthur wasn't having it. He was just kept laughing and laughing because of his condition. He's like, this is, there's no way this is the truth. You definitely, this is all a cover up and stuff. All of a sudden, Thomas, boom, punches Arthur right in the face. Oh. So, before any of these riots, Joker or Arthur actually goes to Wayne Manor because of that letter that we just talked about. And this letter, like, you know, it really concerned him. So he had to go to Wayne Manor to see Thomas, but he actually
we see Bruce,
sees
and
Bruce.
it was so uncomfortable. I'm just sitting there in my chair going, please don't do anything to hurt this kid. Because we see Bruce as a child. His parents are alive before the alley, and it's one of those things where he's kind of making fun of it, you know? Like, he plays jokes on him.
He's got like a magic wand.
He's got the magic wand. He's got the red nose. Like, he's not in like full Joker gear, but he's trying to be funny.
Bruce, you know, he sees Bruce. He does the same thing where the smile thing with his fingers.
Tries to do it to Bruce.
Does it to Bruce.
Yep.
And then Alfred comes out, crazy Alfred, and he's now old. He's like not like white hair. He's middle aged, and he comes out and he confronts Joker, and he's like, you know, you have no business being here.
And this was before the riots too, to where Arthur's mother had a stroke.
Yeah, Arthur's
and was
mother
in the
has a
ER.
stroke. She has to go to the hospital. And one thing to know about the whole confrontation with him and Alfred is he chokes Alfred. Like, he's choking Alfred through the gates of Wayne Manor. And he's like, I want to see Thomas. And, you know, he eventually runs away. But yeah, now moving on to his mother having a stroke, you know, this is a huge part of the movie because, like, we see the ambulance just sort of there with his mother, and it's like, what just happened? So there was two detectives that were kind of questioning him at the hospital, and, you know, they're like, oh, is it a medical condition? You laugh, and, you know, like, we see you give out cards, and he's like, what do you think? And he kind of flicks his cigarette off, and he goes into the hospital, and then we see him on the TV. That leads us to the TV part, and Murray, the comedian, shows Arthur on the TV as the clip of when he did the stand-up. And at first Arthur's laughing and stuff, and then he finds out that he was really just on there to be made fun of.
You know, and that kicks him again down.
Right, this time a symbol kicking him down again, and just
he actually looks up to Murray.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
big time.
Because Arthur's trying to be a stand-up comic, he idolizes Murray, so he wants that affection and affirmation that he's doing what he's doing in a good way. So as soon as he sees his name, like, whoa, Arthur Fleck, that's me that they're talking about. So he gets up, he's staring at the TV, just like feet from it in the hospital room, and just as soon as he finds out himself that they're pretty much laughing at him and not with him, that's when he gets kicked down another couple of pegs.
Yeah. So then moving on to the movie theater, because after all this happens, we get to the movie theater with the confrontation with Thomas, and all that stuff has already been shown because we're cutting and piecing in a lot of things here. So now we get to a point where Thomas punches Arthur in the face, basically says, you know, stay away from me and my kid.
Yep.
And
he actually says, like, if you ever come near me or my son, I'll kill you.
Right,
Like flat
big
out.
time threat. He goes to the mental hospital and he sees all these things like about his mother, like, you know, his mother's been lying to him this whole time. He was like actually, you know, adopted when, you know, Thomas told him he was adopted. He's like, no way. But it turns out Penny was actually like, you know, she had mental issues.
She went to the state hospital for a while because of, and I feel kind of bad for the guy that helped him out because he had to go into the basement, get records from 30 years ago because she was in the state hospital because she was admitted there for endangering the welfare of a child.
Exactly,
which was Arthur. And he couldn't give out the records because he wasn't Penny, herself. So Arthur actually took, and before even this, he admitted the crimes.
Exactly.
That he did. He actually admitted to killing 3 people in the subway.
Yeah, like low key, he admits that he killed those people, and the guy's like, "Wait, what?
Yeah.
What did you just say to me?" Like, it's kind of like crazy. And then eventually, you know, he goes through the records. Joker or Arthur doesn't think that they might be true, they might not be true. So he just takes them for himself.
He steals them. Arthur got it, and he's just booking, running into the stairwell.
He booked. He was out.
Finds out that the adoption is real.
Yep.
And that I think it was Thomas Wayne signed off on the adoption process, which leads Penny to believe that Thomas is her father.
Yep.
Or is Arthur's father.
Yep. Like, you know, now this leads Arthur to kind of contemplate everything that he's ever known, and he just goes nuts and he suffocates and kills his mother in the hospital.
Good God, yeah, that's right.
It was just totally brutal and totally crazy. All right.
So yeah, we get to, before he even kills his mother, we find out that the girl was made up.
He goes to her apartment, right?
To the mother's,
the lady's apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes to the lady's apartment and shoots her dead. I mean, we don't see it happen,
see it.
but we assume that he shoots her because
we see
he
police
goes like
sirens
that, and then we see the police sirens,
man.
and it's crazy. So then we see then Joker goes into his full garb. Then we see a portion where Joker, before he actually puts on his suit, he's in his apartment painting himself up, and all of a sudden we see these 2 guys knock at the door. Who is it? It's Randall, right? Was that his name?
It was Randall, and I don't know who the other guy is, but I think his name is Gary.
His name is Gary,
right?
and he's like a little person,
So,
you know. Yeah.
And it's something, and I know I'm going to end up messing this up too, but please don't yell at us if we use the wrong, you know.
Yeah, the terminology,
Like,
but-
no, it was him and Randall visit, and as soon as they walk in, because Arthur actually lets them into the apartment.
Right.
As soon as he shuts the door, he locks
Locks
one
the
of
door.
locks
That's
with
way
the
up
top
there.
lock,
Yeah.
and you'll find out why we're expressing that in a little bit.
And then he grabs a pair of
like a
scissors
knife
or
or
a knife,
scissors.
something,
Yeah.
and he stabs the
In
Randall
the
brutally
freaking
to
neck.
death. Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure he got him in the eye the second
Right,
time,
yeah.
too.
Just
That
stabs
was,
him, stabs him, and he bleeds all over the walls and stuff, and there's blood on Joker's
And
face. And then he's like, you know, Gary, you can go. You know, just don't tell anybody that
And
this
yeah,
happened.
he lets Gary go.
Yep.
He pretty much says to him, like, you've been nice to me, so I'm going to let you go. And
Yep.
Gary's cowering in the corner. He's like, oh my God, Arthur, and Arthur's just sitting on the ground, and he's just like, dude, you can go.
Yeah.
And Gary goes around, and Arthur's like telling Gary, don't look at him, just go. And as he's getting to the door, he tries to open the door. Remember how he locked it?
Yeah, you can't
well,
reach
he tried
the lock.
to reach the lock.
Yep.
And I'm not poking fun at this, but I chuckled a little bit because I'm like,
It was like
it wasn't
ironically funny. And
yeah,
it,
it wasn't like the
rough.
I'm laughing
Yeah.
at you funny. It was the oh my God, that's like the
yeah.
sick kind of comedy
It's
that
morbid.
Joker would have. And I thought he was gonna come up behind him and
Oh,
just
right.
shanked. But no, Gary turns around and goes, Arthur, can you
Open this
let
door
me
for
out?
me?
Yeah. And Arthur gets up, he unlocks the door, opens it, and then he shuts it again. And I'm like, oh, please
Yeah.
don't kill him. And he goes, you know, Gary, you were the only one that was ever nice to me.
Right.
And then he kisses him
Kisses
on the
him
head.
on the head, and
And then opens the door and lets him go.
yep, Gary's free.
To interrupt you because unfortunately Mountain Dew is in my system.
Oh, okay.
And you can put this in the blooper reel if you want to, but I really need to pee.
A few moments later.
Yeah, now we lead into the Almost Murray show,
Yeah.
where he's in full Joker attire and he's doing the dancing scene, and then all of a sudden we see the 2 detectives that want to question him again at the top of the stairs, like way at the top, and they're like, whoa, stop, we need to ask you some questions, and Arthur just books it down the line, gets into the subway, and we see like a bunch of clowns It's almost like
Crazy.
they wrote this stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's trying to hide and weave and roll around the crowd because he's just trying to get away from the two detectives.
Yes.
And it gets to the point where it's so crowded, he's trying his best to get away, and the two detectives are, because these people have clown masks and everything.
Right,
They don't
yeah.
have just like the paint and everything. They have clown masks, so they're trying
Yeah.
to get everybody to lift their masks up so they can take a look and see if it's actually
Yeah.
Arthur or if it's just another bystander.
Yep.
And as they get to like the third cart,
Yeah. They just keep
Yeah.
going through the carts on the train, and then, Joker actually steals a mask off of one of the guys successfully. And then there's some commotion that breaks out. Somebody punches another guy, and then
because he
cops,
stole the
Right,
mask.
yeah.
So because he stole the mask, he was turned around. So the guy stole the mask. He was about to throw a punch. As he threw the punch, he hit the wrong guy.
and
then that
the
guy
motion
was like,
breaks loose.
and basically just tried to kick the crap out of him.
And then the cops eventually show up. They get involved, and then there's a killing that happens there too,
Yep.
right? The cop
Joker-
shoots one of them.
No, actually, Joker shoots a random bystander.
Joker shoots
Yeah.
a bystander. Oh.
And it's pretty much like, because it's one of those, like the subway is dark and decrepit, so every
Right.
once in a while you'll go underneath the bridge and the lights will cut out. So perfect opportunity in his
Yeah.
mind to go, oh, well, let me try this. He shoots a random bystander, and that random bystander is, obviously he's dead. People are looking all around. Who are the two most obvious people that have guns? The detectives.
Detectives, yeah.
So they pin it on the detectives and they rush them. So
Yep.
Joker slithers away.
Slithers away, yeah. And now he gets to the Murray show, right?
And this
Murray's
is
comedy
after.
show.
When actually was it? It was the train scene with the shop bystander, Murray Frank. So now
Yep.
he's actually
Now
on.
he's actually
because
goes
he
to
was
the show.
on the way to the show.
Yes, he was on the way to the show.
Yeah.
So he goes to the show, and Murray's talking to him and stuff, and it's like we want to make sure this is not political, right? With all the events that's happening in Gotham, he said, and Joker's like, no, I'm not involved with politics. This is kind of just my garb, what I
It's
wear.
just me, who I
Yeah.
am.
So Murray, Joker comes out and he's dancing and stuff and doing his thing. He comes out on the show, and him and Murray are talking for a bit. And, Joker tries to crack jokes. He does so unsuccessfully. His jokes are kind of garbage or whatever. And Murray just slays him basically with roasts. He's like cutting him up and down, and he's like
trying to do like knock jokes, and he's
Yeah.
just like, well, you gotta, because he has a book.
Yeah, big
of
book,
jokes.
yeah.
And it's not only just a joke book; it's his personal joke. Oh, we never actually touched on that. It's an actual
It's
personal
his journal, right?
too.
And it has jokes in it.
Yeah.
So that's what he uses with stand-up, and he talks about his stand-up and whatever. So the main point in this segment is like Joker talks to Murray, and he's like, why are you showing my clips? You're making me look trash, basically. You're making me feel like garbage.
Just kicking him down.
Yeah, kicking him down again. So they get into a very heated conversation on live television, which is crazy. And then he admits on live TV that he killed those three guys.
He admits to killing the 3 people in the subway, and everybody's shocked. They're booing him.
Oh yeah,
They're-
booing him up and down.
Yeah, and then we see him say, or no, it was, so I wrote it down later in, I guess, in my notes. His name is Murray Franklin.
Yeah.
So that's his full name. So the Murray Franklin show, he's asking him, he's like, you're being serious, this isn't a joke.
Yeah,
Where's the
right,
punchline?
right.
And he's like, no, there's no punchline. I killed them. And he's
Yeah.
like, wait, why are you admitting this? And without missing a beat, he just goes, because I've got nothing else to lose.
Got nothing else to lose. He doesn't care anymore. So he's kind of just like, I'll admit it. I did it. And then then we find out it is actually like,
a little
like
political.
a little bit political. And I don't know if there's anything big that happens between this. So they're basically talking, and they're basically saying like, "Oh, Murray's saying this is not right," and then Joker's like, "Well, we all perceive comedy differently. This is my funny business. This is the way that I think. Like these are my jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there was
Killing
one
people.
joke I really don't want to say out loud, so I'll let people watch the movie
go watch the
and watch
movie.
that, because that was a weird and uncomfortable joke.
And then Murray gets shot and killed by the Joker in this live studio audience.
Yeah.
Everybody, yeah.
And then before that, he makes that political statement of, where, well, the only reason why you guys are knowing about me now is because you're picking on me. You think that you people being the rich,
Exactly. You're always stepping on me.
You're
and
always
putting me
stepping on the
down.
little guy and kicking me down. So
Yeah.
you're just finding another reason to kick me down. The other day, you didn't know who I was. The other day, you would have seen me and just stepped right over me.
Right. So then, after the shooting, he kind of goes up to the camera and he does his the classic outro that Murray does, and he goes, "That's life," and then but it gets cut out before he can say life. And then because it's kind of signifies too his life, Murray's life done. I mean, that's if maybe reading too much into that, but it's kind of funny and ironic in that sort of sense. So Joker does get arrested by the police.
He did get arrested. So the cops were on the way. Maybe somebody did call the cops and they just came in a little later than they should have.
Yeah.
But he's in the cop car, back of the car, driving into the middle of the streets of Gotham, and we see Gotham at its lowest. This is the point where you can say, oh, now I know exactly where they are in the point in time.
Right.
Because there's riots breaking out everywhere, there's fires, there's robberies, there's
craziness.
There's just craziness all throughout the entire city.
Right. So then what happens is he's in the back of the cop car, he's laughing at all this. The cop's like, stop laughing. All of a sudden, this guy in a clown mask rams into the cop car.
Broadside, just like the cop car is going straight through a green light, and I bet you the reason why is they might have caught wind that he was arrested, so they were trying to go through and find cop cars because they idolize Joker now to the point where we're going to try to save this guy. So they broadside the car.
Yep.
And it pretty much knocks Joker unconscious.
Yep.
You see the devastation. The two.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that the two cops are dead.
Yeah.
Or at least they're perceived to be dead.
Yeah.
And you just see Joker slumped on the other side. You see and it was in an ambulance too.
Yep.
It was an ambulance vehicle broadsiding the car. They pull Joker out, and you're like, well, this is typical Joker fashion. He gets beat the crap out of, and he just gets right back up. But no, it takes him a while.
Oh yeah, long time. And during all of this too, we see this guy in a mask, in a clown mask.
Ooh, this is after though.
Oh, this is after.
Yeah, this is after the whole
right.
like. So I hate interrupting you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. No, because you know that I was gonna get
You were
into
gonna say the origin.
Thomas and Martha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens before that? If I'm missing anything.
So it was-
Don't they just raise him up like he's their
they
savior
raise-
and they-
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So they raise Joker up. Joker comes out of consciousness, and they raise him up as like he's their idol and stuff, and
He's dancing on the hood of the
police
car and like everybody sees him. And then, as you were about to say, they're gonna cut to a random, or at least we think random, clown guy.
Yeah,
so he's
guy in a clown
he's
mask.
in a clown mask and he's got his hands in his pockets. And who do you see?
Yeah, we see.
Out of the theater.
Yep, we see Thomas, Martha, and Bruce walk out of the theater. And you know where this is going. This is typical comic stuff. I mean, we've seen the origins for years and years and years now. Martha and Thomas and Bruce walk into an alley. But this time,
This is definitely different than usual.
it's different than usual because I think originally, like the comics and stuff, they know a shorter way back home or something, and that's why they take the alley. Is that the reason why?
Maybe it's because now they see the riots.
Yeah, they see the
don't
riots
wanna
and
be
they
anywhere
flee
near
into
it.
the alley.
Yeah.
But this guy chases him and kills Thomas and Martha right in front of Bruce. You could actually see the blood of Thomas when he gets shot go on Bruce's face.
It was messed up. I actually
so
missed
bad.
that. And it was more blunt because before you would see like the guy had the gun out and he'd be like, give me your money, give me your pearls, per usual. But this time it was, he didn't even ask for anything. He just flat out shot Thomas Wayne.
Oh yeah, crazy.
And grabbed the pearls off of Martha and pulled them off and then shot her. Bruce is crying, obviously.
Yep.
And then it cuts away. We don't see anything more.
Cuts away from that, and then we see Joker again on the hood of the car.
Dancing and praising.
Everybody's praising him, and then that's the end,
and
right?
Do you remember how I told you about the nose bleeding?
Yeah.
This was very interesting to me.
Oh yeah, he gets the blood.
Was that he actually takes
rubs
the
it
blood
on
of the
his
nose
face.
and just makes the
does the same thing he did at the beginning, like with his fingers, and then he kind of rubs the blood all over his lips to make it look like he's smiling. Then we get the end credits, and there's no end credit scene, which you know, Joker was meant to leave you on. Oh, we're forgetting something.
forgot the psychiatrist
Psychiatrist. So he goes to the psychiatrist.
New one.
It's the same lady, but it's a new building.
It's in Arkham Asylum.
It's Arkham Asylum, yeah. And they're talking to each other, and he just starts singing or does he sing That's Life? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he
or?
starts singing the It's Life
He
theme
says something
song.
about, like, he goes, I tell you a joke, but you wouldn't get it.
Yeah,
And then you just see
it's
Bruce
very
in the-
morbid and very cryptic. He walks out of the area and there's blood on his shoes. Yeah, and he's walking all over with these bloody prints. And then this guy keeps chasing him around the
It
hallway.
kind of reminded me of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
Because
Exactly.
It was he gets down to like the end of the hallway
Yep.
and he's just dancing along
Right.
and he's having a blast and you see the blood coming from his shoe. And then as he gets to the end of the hallway, he's looking out the window and he looks right. Or no, he looks left and then he starts running right.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, definitely going to be
Crazy,
people.
yep.
And then you see him go from right to left and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, how did they not? And then it goes from left to right again and I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And
Yep.
then the end.
Yep, the end pops up on the screen, and that's the movie. No end credits scene, the end credits roll, and that's pretty much it for the Don't Talk During the Movie podcast, where we don't talk about it during the movie, we talk about it after. We'll see you guys next time here on YouTube. Peace out.